Hey, Broken World Entertainment, and some interesting news has come out. You may have heard it, but it's really kind of breaking mainstream now with a few names, but apparently a lot of it happened months ago. That is, of course, the news now that Warner Brothers Discovery has suspended the production, producing, writing packs they made with creators such as Greg Berlanti, Mindy Kaling, Chuck Lorre, that's right, but Chuck Lorre, Bill Lawrence, John Wells, and the big one that we all knew was coming, the one we are only asking why did it take so goddamn long, but they finally did it, J.J. Abrams. That's right, good old Jar Jar. Now, when the writer strike started, we've all been saying for months that the studios were going to use this as a way to purge the companies from all of these activist writers. There's talks about will the Velma season 2 actually come out? Will it happen? That probably will still come out, mainly because it was already made. There's no, oh, they need her to write it, they need to still film it or anything like that. That was made. They shot that when they shot the first season. It was pretty much one gigantic season, and they just broke it up to make 2 seasons out of it. But with her contract now being suspended, I don't know what way the deal would be for them to release that. The Chuck Lorre end of things is a bit interesting, and a few of the others. But of course, it's the J.J. Abrams one that's the big one. But let's have a quick look at some of this. So Warner Brothers TV has suspended overall deals with more of its A-list marquee producers, which includes Greg Berlanti, Bill Lawrence, John Wells, Chuck Lorre, and Mindy Kaling, as well as J.J. Abrams and Bad Reboot. Some of those names, including Wells and Lorre, had their deals suspended months ago. Earlier on in the writer's strike, others who had shows in various stages of post-production when the work stoppage began on May the 2nd were kept status quo while episodes were completed. The latest news of suspensions comes months after Warner Brothers TV, along with Amazon, HBO, I don't know why they have Warner Brothers TV in this twice, but they do, NBC Universal, Disney and CBS Studios, and other major struck studios already hit pause on some first look and overall deals amid the ongoing strikes. That's interesting that they've joined others, because here's another headline. This one is at the Hollywood Reporter, and it says, following Warner Brothers' suspension of writer-producer packs including Greg Berlanti, Mindy Kaling and J.J. Abrams, now joined by Donald Glover, as well as Lisa Joy and Jonah Nolan at Amazon. Insiders predict most remaining deals will be paused, though few see signs of those force majeure's bloodbath that occurred during the last strike. So they're saying they don't think they're just going to get rid of every single person, but a lot of... You can understand why so many of these deals have been put on pause. The Chuck Lorre one, for people who kind of might recognise that name but aren't sure who exactly he is, he was the co-creator of The Big Bang Theory, Young Sheldon, and more famously, of course, 2.5 Men. Apparently he's produced a ton of crap. The only stuff I know of him is Big Bang, Young Sheldon, and 2.5 Men. But apparently he's pumped out a ton of crap for Warner Brothers. And other than the 3 previous mentioned, they've all pretty much failed. That they just are not getting the views like what 2.5 Men and Big Bang were getting. So it's no real surprise to hear that maybe his contract was put on hold. Young Sheldon is doing well, but it's a show that can only go so far. Particularly as the kids, they're not just growing up, they're growing up incredibly quickly. Look at the first season. I think it's only on like its 6th season. Look at the first season to now. The kid who plays Sheldon, his voice broke this new season. He took a big major stretch in his height. And they got lucky because the girl that plays his sister also took a stretch. Because that would have been weird if they're meant to be twins and he was towering over her. They're still roughly the same height. But that show can only go so far. But the J.J. Abrams deal. This deal was a joke to start with. The fact that the previous establishment at Warner Brothers gave that moron $250 million deals. $million. Straight up. It's not like they gave him a bit and said, okay, produce the stuff and we'll continue. No, they gave it to him up front. That was back in September of 2019. That's 4 years ago. 4 years, and he hasn't produced one single thing for Warner Brothers. The first thing he moved for was Superman. No one wanted him to touch it, but that's what he was trying to work on. What did he do? He hired Ta-Nehisi Coates, the guy who 22 years ago, this very month, said some horrendous things about first responders on a day that just recently passed its anniversary. Yeah, he's also the same guy who turned Captain America against America in the comics. He was who was going to be in charge. And the two of them combined didn't miss one deadline. They didn't miss 2. They missed 3 deadline dates to hand in a script. And they never did. Other than that, the only other thing he presented to Warner Brothers was a Batman animated series that they took one look at and went, yeah, no, you can sell that on. We're not doing that. So he's walking around with $250 million in his pocket, hasn't produced one single thing. He hasn't done anything since the rise of Skywalker. It's no wonder that they've stopped his deal. And I'm curious as to what happens with that money. There has to be something in the package. Otherwise, if there isn't, then the last people who were in charge and gave him that deal deserve to never work again. To give him $250 million, there has to be some sort of clause in there that says if he doesn't give you something by this time, he's to give that money back and you can terminate his contract. 4 years, not one product is coming out from Warner Brothers under the production company of Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams. So it's absolutely no shocker that they're like, yeah, we're done. Good luck and thanks. What a cabbage that dude is. Again, the Mindy Kaling deal with Velma. Velma is already filmed, so I don't know what way that would work. They would probably just have to pay her off to be able to show it. If they even want to show it, they should probably just scrap it. They may, don't know. But time will tell. But there you go. Interesting story that all these contracts are now getting suspended. It's almost like the studios are trying to purge themselves from these morons. Interesting. Anyway, with that, I'll leave it there for this one. So cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.